Charles Wilkinson, current chair of Disability in Alabama, joins us today to share resources from Alabama's affiliate to the National Disability In. Welcome, Charles Wilkinson.
Good morning. Thank you for sharing your time today by participating in this summit. I am Charles Wilkinson, and I'm honored to be the chair of the Board of Disability in Alabama. We're a proud sponsor of this summit, and want to thank you for your time today. Over the next 10 minutes or so, I look forward to sharing with you information about the mission of disability in Alabama and the resources and relationships that are available to you in your business through a no-cost affiliation with us. Many of you already know us through our legal name. We're an organization that's been around for more than 20 years, and our legal name is the Alabama Business Leadership Employment Network, or the ABLE Network. And many of you have worked with us in the past, and those of you who don't know us, we certainly want to make sure today that you know our name and you know what we can do to support your initiatives to increase the employment of individuals with disabilities in your workplace. Next slide, please. This past year, we rebranded to Disability in Alabama, and we are really looking forward to the future. The reason we rebranded is it was part of a national rebranding of our national organization, and the intent was to really bring more focus to our mission, and that is the inclusion of individuals with disabilities in the workplace in all aspects, terms, and conditions of employment. So by moving to the branding and name of Disability In, and in our mission, uniquely supporting the businesses in Alabama, Disability in Alabama became our name. Next slide, please.
This video features images of people, places, and technology.
We push ourselves to become leaders. Corporations strive to become leaders. We share the same ambition. Success in business and in life. We are looking toward the future for business and for people with disabilities. Join us now in creating inclusive cultures, innovating with accessibility, working internationally with purpose. Because when we're all in, we can lead together. Now it's your turn. USBLN is now Disability In, your business partner for disability inclusion. Are you in?
So again, the Disability In organization is our national organization. There are 27 affiliates across the country, just like Disability in Alabama. And what our mission is sharing strategies for business. We are a business-to-business support organization, but sharing strategies that are proven to successfully engage individual with disabilities, the resources that support them, and engage them, include them across our entire enterprises. Next slide, please. So our goals are obviously promoting diversity in the workplace by including, recruiting, and retaining individuals with disabilities. It's not just recruiting them, but also retaining them, making sure that they have upward mobility within the organization, and that if they become disabled while employed, there are strategies and interventions to help keep them employed in your organization. Also to promote the exchange of best practices. So much great work has been done in this space over the years. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. The success stories are there. The roadmaps are there. And through our business-to-business engagement, we can provide those to shortcut the learning curve and accelerate the process of success. Also fostering partnerships like those with the Department of Rehabilitation Services here in Alabama. They do a great job of supporting our businesses. And so we collaborate very closely with them in making sure that for your jobs and your company, that we have training and development programs, vocational rehabilitation training that builds skill sets within individuals equipped to do your jobs. We also collaborate very closely with the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, as well as the Department of Labor Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, because they share our mission of inclusion of individuals with disabilities. And so, because every individual is different, every accommodation situation is different, we often meet challenges that require some technical assistance from EEOC or OFCCP to support a success there. And so they're great collaborators with us. Also sponsoring employer-focused educational and training opportunities to keep you on the leading edge of research and interventions and accommodations and adaptive technologies that are out there, and success stories, celebrating successes so that we learn from each other. And the good faith effort. Many of us are federal contractors that have hiring benchmarks for individuals with disabilities. We can help you achieve those outreach obligations, your linkages to community-based organizations, and provide resources that can help you succeed with these good faith efforts, and not just the effort, but the results. And then obviously recruiting pools of applicants. Because of our relationships with community-based service organizations like the Department of Rehabilitation Services, we can connect you as a business to resources that can, again, help you develop a diverse recruitment pool. Next slide, please. Again, because we're a business-to-business approach, you're going to be engaging with business owners and business leaders, industry peers, at events that we sponsor, national events. Our National Disability Inc. conference is huge. There are thousands of progressive employers there, but also locally, topics that like this summit keep you informed, but also connecting with local certified disability-owned businesses. If you have a supplier diversity program, we can hook you up on that. We can supply you information about certified disability-owned businesses. They could be service-disabled veterans or veteran disability-owned businesses. And then obviously local sources of talent, as we mentioned earlier, but then also networking with our government compliance organizations, and then things like developing affinity programs for individuals with disabilities, resources around doing that. We have members who have done these things and can share with you their success stories and lessons learned. Next slide, please. One of the things we're so proud of in terms of the roadmap that can help you and other businesses like you shortcut that learning curve and reach success much earlier is something called the Disability Equality Index. Our national organization has pioneered this and partnered with a number of other organizations that are serving the needs of individual disabilities. But this is a national program that we have almost 300 corporations of the top 500 that participate in this. And basically, it's a roadmap, it's a scoring metric that allows corporations and organizations to build equity and inclusion programs for individual disabilities based on best practices, things that have worked. And they get scored on their progress each year. And then the scoring is what is used to identify the list of best places to work for disability inclusion. And again, as we mentioned, the DOBE, the Disability-Owned Business Enterprises certification programs, service disabled veteran and veteran disability-owned business enterprises, a great program there to support your diversity and inclusion programs. Next slide, please. Here's just an overview of that DEI. Again, its purpose is to provide benchmarking and educating businesses on best practice. It's an annual benchmarking tool. Enterprises can sign up. And there's no obligation to participate, but it enables defining and developing, again, this roadmap for disability inclusion. The 6 key areas that are measured there are obviously culture and leadership. What does culture of inclusion look like? How do we engage with our senior leaders on this? Employment practices, all terms and conditions, community engagement, for again, supplier diversity. And then, because this is a global organization, if you've got operations across the world, across the globe, we can support you in other countries as well. Next slide, please. So in addition to the disability in Alabama being comprised of local organizations, some of the largest employers in Alabama, public and private, as well as small to mid-sized privately held and nonprofit organizations, look at the CEOs of these organizations that are national in nature, international in nature, that all have a presence here in Alabama. These are CEOs of leading organizations who have stepped up, leading the way in their organizations. They're proving these roadmaps for success work. They're participating in the Disability Equity Index, and we're able to learn from them. Baxter International, Best Buy, Salesforce, TD Bank. Next slide, please. U.S. Bank Corp, Lowe's, Dominion Energy, Land of Lakes, Ernst & Young. Next slide, please. Discover, Siemens, Southwest, Boston Scientific, Voya. Next slide, please. Walmart, CVS, Microsoft, Equitable Holdings, Grant Thornton. Next slide, please. T-Mobile, PPL Corporation, Intel, Accenture, New Motion. All of these organizations are leading the way. But you don't have to be big to do that. So I guess our question remains that, today, this year we're marking the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And it's very fitting that this year marks a high mark for the percentage of individuals with disabilities who are employed. We've reached a high mark on that. And it's because of federal contractors stepping up and setting hiring benchmarks, federal agencies, state state and local governments adopting a model employer approach to be an inclusive organization, modeling what inclusion for disability looks like in the private sector, and having these CEOs step up and lead the way. So our question to you, are you all in? By your presence here today, it tells me you are. You're in, you're committed, you're here and learning. And people often ask, well, why don't folks get involved? Well, maybe you're a federal contractor with those hiring benchmarks and you're looking for best practices on outreach. We're here for you. Maybe you're an employer trying to figure out if your website or your employment processes are accessible to individuals with disabilities. We can provide resources for that. Maybe you're trying to develop that diversity and inclusion program and form those employee resource groups for employees with disabilities. We have members that can share their experiences with you about that. Maybe you have a key employee who became disabled while they were employed and you're needing help having that accommodation discussion with them or finding the right assistive technology for them. We can help you with that. Or maybe you just want to be part of a group to have a confidential brainstorming conversation with others without reinventing the wheel. We've got you covered there. We can hook you up. So in conclusion, I want to welcome you to the conference today. Thank you for being here. We invite you to join Disability in Alabama. Drop us a line at disabilityinalabama.org. We'll make connection and we'll get you in. Thanks again.